Yeah, the easy answer is yes. Should major publishers and creators be crowdfunding comics alongside independent and do it yourself creators? This is coming from Newsarama. This is a common thing that keeps coming up. People are wondering, hey, if you have crowdfunding and you do it for comic books, what kinds of creators should be on there? Should it only be unpublished creators, or can it be a company, or what could it be? And the answer is, obviously it's up to the website that hosts the crowdfunding to decide, like, how is it that they want to cultivate the experience of going to the website. Do they want to only have small do-it-yourself creators, or do they want to have major creators, or do they want to have a mix, or do they want to do something intelligent and maybe really, figure out how going to that website experience could get people interested in supporting projects from that website, and create kind of a community atmosphere around that website. If you go to Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, there's an experience that's associated with going to any of those platforms that people use as a social platform. But there are different kinds of things you do on different types of platforms. That's what they should, of course, be doing. And that's what they should be cultivating and figuring out. How do they make it a great experience, and how do they make it somewhere where people want to spend a lot of time there? If you know the answer to that, you can make millions and millions of dollars, and that's what they should be focused on. So this is coming from Newsarama. Let's get into the article. Before we do, support my work, subscribe to the channel, click the bell for notifications. So can the do-it-yourself system of crowdfunding mesh with the establishment? Look, there's no establishment. It's the ownership of Marvel and DC keeps turning over. Yeah, they have some characters that have been known for many years, but they're doing changes to the characters that almost make them new characters just based on the old brands. There are all sorts of independent companies that are one-man companies. Some of them are five-man companies. There's a lot of companies that are coming up that are just doing comics so they can pitch their movie and TV properties. So there's really no more establishment. Everything is just kind of shattered into a whole bunch of different companies with different motivations and different creators. So now they're looking into the growing use of crowdfunding by Boom, Scott Snyder, and others. Crowdfunding in comics arose as a way for comic creators to fund comic projects that wouldn't necessarily fit in with the traditional comic book publishing structure. But now more and more traditional comic book publishers, as well as A-list Big Two publishing talent, have begun using Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and others to make their projects a reality. Comicsgate is a unique group and a unique network where people kind of get together and help promote each other's books and create excitement and fun on YouTube. Incredibly successful. I do a series of videos called Secrets of the Comicsgate Network, which talks about Comicsgate specifically and a lot of my experience in publishing. I have published 1,000 comics before I got involved in publishing comics again with the Comicsgate guys. But Comicsgate is something they should be talking about, because that's creating its own entity and its own energy on YouTube. And does a lot on Twitter as well, driving customers to these established platforms. And the platform of choice for Comicsgate is Indiegogo. For some, having established publishers and creators begin crowdfunding projects feels like the old guard horning in on territory for the next generation. But for others, it's a new distribution model, similar to the widespread adoption to the direct market and later digital comics whose time has come. One of the most recent crowdfunding projects by a major establishment has been Boom Studios' Berserker series. Now, I do not consider Boom Studios a major establishment, and it could just be a poor choice of words, but Boom Studios is an independent company. They've been around for a while. They are owned in part now by Disney, because Disney acquired Fox, but they're not a major company. A major company is Marvel and DC. And then behind them is Image, but Image it's really a publishing imprint for guys who own their own projects. So it's not the same as a Marvel or DC kind of company. There's still only really Marvel and DC as the big two. Okay, so the comic is co-written and sort of starring Keanu Reeves, because it looks like him. For Boom co-founder publisher Ross Ritchie, it's not about funding the project directly, but more about reaching a new audience or an existing audience looking for a new way to buy these comic books. So as a comic book publisher, Boom, of course, is going to be looking into selling direct to consumer and figuring out how to make that work. And also seeing what they can get from it. A publisher is there to put out their ideas and try to sell as many as they can, and also have a way to connect with their customers. So direct to consumer through a crowdfunding platform, it makes all the sense in the world to any publisher of any scale and any size. Kickstarter offers a set and forget single-click solution where fans who have never been to a comic shop or never read a graphic novel can pre-order this trilogy of graphic novels and have it delivered quickly to their door, Ritchie tells Newsarama. So Berserker is a 3-book series of graphic novels, and you can get it on Kickstarter. And it's done over $1 million now, which is damn successful. This gets more people to read comics, and the comic creators financially participate in the Kickstarter. So the more successful it is, the more Matt Kint, Ron Gary, and Bill Crabtree benefit, he continues. I guess they're paying royalties, whatever they are. Keanu has been very excited about recruiting more people to read comics. It's a medium he has a real appreciation for. When we decided we were going to collaborate on the project, the first thing he said was, and we'll get Raphael Grandpa to do the cover. Okay. Comic store owner Jen King sees Boom's Kickstarter strategy for Berserker being complementary, not competition, for her store, Space Cadets, which is by now probably out of business. Hopefully it's not, but a lot of comic book stores are going out of business. The way that Boom is doing their Kickstarter, for example, is how it would work well. The single issues are going to the shops first and exclusively. It then acts as an extra reason for fans of the Kickstarter to search out the local comic shops to get those issues. Former Kickstarter, and there are so few comic book shops that you're probably not going to find any, but there are less than 2,000 left. There used to be more than 10,000. One way is to shout out other Kickstarter. Okay. Former Kickstarter. Now, this is really funny to see Camilla Zahn talking in this article, because she was Kickstarter's comic book outreach lead. So did she bring in Keanu Reeves? Did she bring in Marvel or DC? Did she bring in major creators to build the Kickstarter platform? No, she didn't. But what she did manage to accomplish was she annoyed a lot of people. She refused a lot of projects. She promoted a lot of her politically important projects to her, a lot of her pet projects, a lot of diversity projects that wouldn't necessarily make it on merit, unfortunately. And now, she's talking about how to get people onto Kickstarter. That's what she should have been focused on while she was still at Kickstarter. But let's see what she has to say. Former Kickstarter comic book outreach lead Camilla Zhang believes there's a space for big companies to join Kickstarter while respecting the homegrown community. This is something she should have done. She should have figured out and collaborated. The thing is, when you collaborate and you work as a professional or as an executive, you can work with other very intelligent people. And you can say, hey, look, you're Marvel Comics. We're Kickstarter. We do direct to consumer. We can get you a lot of cool information on your customers. We can create a lot of excitement. Let's sit down together and bring your smartest people, and we'll bring our smartest people, and we'll figure out what's a good place for a major company on Kickstarter. Let's have a meeting. Let's talk about that. They didn't do it. I mean, if they did it, it's a secret. She didn't actually do the outreach work. She did manage to get a Silicon Valley's first union in place, which was really stupid because they couldn't afford a union. So she got extra benefits to the employees, and then 40% of the people or something got laid off. These people live in a freaking dream world. One way is to shout out other Kickstarter campaigns that they really like or want to support. Okay? Or maybe if you're working at Kickstarter, you could suggest campaigns so they don't have to spend time going through them and deciding what to support. You could support that to someone like Keanu Reeves and say, hey, Keanu, I thought you might want to help us promote The Little Guys. Here's a list of campaigns we think you might want to do. And yeah, Kickstarter does spotlight some projects, but you could actually coordinate this. You could have Keanu in a video interview on YouTube that you could replay on Kickstarter and feature on the front page, talking about comics and a comic creation with one of the comic creators, like, and make Kickstarter very special. I don't work at Kickstarter, or I'm not professionally, part of anybody's development team for outreach, but for the love of God, obviously you could be doing this. Now she's starting to think about what to do. It's like, this is what you ought to have gotten your job based on. When you get hired for a position, especially a management position, you ought to come to that position with some ideas about what you would do on that job. Not just your immutable characteristics. You should be coming there with potential ideas and solutions, bringing that to the table on day one, and then working to get them done. And I think that imbuing your own campaign with a kind of fan engagement element, engaging element, all right, is also another way to just really try to connect with your community. Some campaigns do this better than others, I will say. They really don't offer any guidance. For the whatever it was, 2 years or so she was there, she produced no resources that were usable for this. Zhang says that Boom's current Kickstarter campaign for Berserker is ruffling feathers among crowdfunding space due to its treatment of the community. By the way, should Zhang have not been dumped from Kickstarter if she hadn't left, whoever took her place now, and I guess no one specifically took her place, but whoever is in charge of what she wasn't used to be in charge of should be coordinating this. Coordinating a narrative and communication throughout the community so that people aren't upset and they understand the benefit of Keanu Reeves bringing so much attention and money to Kickstarter. And Kickstarter needs the money too. They make a profit when a book does $1 million through there, and it's also going to bring other activity. So it's very positive for the Kickstarter platform, but someone's supposed to be communicating to the the diversity crowd that doesn't pull as much money on the platform at Kickstarter, that this is a positive thing. Quote, I know there's a lot of buzz out there right now about Boom likening it to Archie's failed campaign a couple of years ago, she says. Boom is doing very fine for themselves right now. They don't have a great reputation when it comes to paying creators specifically. Shut up. You're supposed to be an outreach person. Specifically, by POC, queer, and trans creators. You know why they don't have a great reputation for paying those people? I'll tell you why. It's not because they pay those people less. It's because they don't pay much at all to anybody. Standard rates could be very little at Boom because they run a tight budget and that's it. I don't think people really realize they're partially financed by Disney, as in Disney. So could they afford it? Yeah, they could afford to pay a lot more money. Do they pay more money? No. And it's not because of someone's gender. It's not because of any other reason that they want to keep their budgets tight and lose as little money as possible. The reason there are these people, trans creators, whatever, working at Boom is because they give people a shot. I would hope it would be based on merit, but most of these companies, unfortunately, don't hire based on merit. They're just getting a shot. It's good to get a shot, but you should get it based on merit. But another thing is that if you read their campaign page, it really doesn't have the community in mind. There's no sense of gratitude or humility. Humility, which is fine. What humility? They're all... There's nothing for them to have humility about. They're excited to put out their project. They're putting it out. They want to communicate directly with creators. If that's the route they want to go, that's the route they can go. That's their choice. Oh, is it? But they don't seem particularly concerned with ruffling feathers because they're doing very well. Well, idiot, they need to have got... How are they supposed to know about ruffling feathers? They're focused on their project, which they somehow made really successful. I've talked to a couple of friends about this Keanu Reeves Berserker campaign, or Berserk, whatever. How is it doing so well? Well, the answer is, I kind of don't know. I don't see a huge social media presence for Keanu Reeves. The art I saw looks good, the content looks good, but 1 million is really a lot to not have a built-in audience of comic book buyers and grab that in a 30-day period. It's a lot. It's not trivial. And he's not out promoting it constantly. So it was just a huge hit. There's no humility they need to have. They should be excited for their success. And they're also showing other people that can be done too. But they don't seem to... All right, ruffling feathers. The ground sell for groundswell for crowdfunding for many has been about the engagement between the project and those funding. At its base is a business-customer relationship, but Zhang argues that many backers are coming in on the ground floor so they can feel like part of something, like a part of that creative process. That's the responsibility of the platform, to make people feel that way. The creators absolutely should be interacting with the platform and doing that, but the platform should be thinking about that all the time and really making people feel like they're part of the process, work in progress, having opportunities to give even feedback of development of the content. All of that stuff is up to the platform to organize and coordinate. The creators, absolutely, yes, them too, but it should be led by the platform. It's just ridiculous. Okay, one of the things that these publishers see Kickstarter as just the pre-ordering platform and nothing more. And if you treat Kickstarter like a pre-ordering platform, it doesn't always work in your favor. One of the reasons why Archie, in my opinion, failed is because they really didn't understand how to treat backers. Okay, the reason Archie failed. What is she talking about, Archie failing? Archie was talking about a Kickstarter project that would be a special project that was funded just by Kickstarter, and it was going to have, if I'm remembering correctly, Adam Hughes working on the Archie titles, and it was going to be funded like completely through the Kickstarter. It had never been done before. Nothing like it had ever been done before. Obviously, they didn't get any support in particular from Kickstarter in terms of how to communicate to the community what they were trying to do. So did it fail? Yeah, it failed. It didn't work out. They pulled it because they got a lot of negative feedback, and they weren't able to handle how to make it something that the community would get excited about. You know, inside the direct market, Archie's fans, and the Kickstarter people. So none of it was coordinated. And guess who's supposed to coordinate all that? The people that can control the platform at Kickstarter. Did they? No, they didn't do their job. Zhang is currently working as a crowdfunding expert, oh my God, for the comic book series Noctera by Scott Snyder and Tony Daniel. She says, okay, it's not like he needed the crowdfunding money to get his series off the ground at this point. For him, it's almost exclusively about the community, especially without convention season and that interaction for the past 7 months. It's incredibly exciting for me and other creators because it allows this immediacy and direct connectivity to fans, Snyder says. I saw him say that, and I like how he presented that, and I like their sense of communicating with their fans directly, and that's what technology allows, and that's what they're supposed to be doing. I kept hearing of that relationship with backers that are fluid and organic. You get to do Q&As with them. You listen to their comments. You adjust to the campaign to fit. That collaborative relationship is something that I feel like I enjoyed, and the people I've worked with, in particular, the people I gravitate towards, really love about comics in general. There's such an immediate back and forth between fans and creators. You're part of telling a story together. Yeah, it is cool to be able to collaborate with fans like that. It is possible. And it's something the platform should be thinking about how to organize. Because that way you'd get a uniform experience in communicating with project creators. You could see what the community liked, what the community in general didn't like when they're participating on the platform. And you could also direct more of the community to projects that were going to aggressively follow the interaction, which builds the platform's experience and their unique value. So but I'm not developing Kickstarter's platform for them. That's what they should be doing that they're not doing. You know, there are also creators that spend a lot of time, as I mentioned before, I'm involved with the Comicsgate guys, and they spend a lot of time on YouTube. You know, that could be getting exposed to by these platforms a lot better. The platforms should promote and should support the people that are spending so much time and so much energy communicating directly with fans and taking feedback from fans. At press time, Noctera is in the final hours of its month-long Kickstarter, having raised over $200,000, much more than its $40,000 goal, and that's a win for Snyder. So Noctera is doing very well. I would definitely do a Kickstarter in the future, but the campaign alone has funded really beyond what I'd hoped, the writer explains, so it's good to be able to get this book going, have 5 or 6 issues in the can, which is when you'll start to see returns. Snyder is, of course, following the footsteps of many comic creators who've used crowdfunding before, including some like him who've made their names at Marvel and DC. All right, and this goes on with some comments from Jim Palmiotti, who's used Kickstarter a lot, you know, the bottom line is, yeah, the platform is for everyone. It's up to the platform to use the technology in a way that they create an experience for people that use the platform. And the more time that consumers want to spend on that platform, the more valuable their platform is. And it should serve the consumers, and it should serve the creators. And they should have common resources that everybody can use that makes it a stronger platform and a stronger community. But the magic of crowdfunding is technology. It's just the ability that people can go to a website, they can back projects they want to back. Creators just have to, you know, post their project on their on the platform. They have to deliver. There's some security that the platform provides for these incremental transactions. But it's a great technology. It's a great platform. It's something that is innovative. But that said, there are also other platforms where if you can't provide this better experience for project creators and a better experience for consumers, then people like the Comics Kit guys can easily start their own platform. It's just software. It's not like it's a big deal. And at some point, maybe they will. We'll see what happens. But for right now, yes, everybody ought to use the platforms, and the platforms have to think about how they want to make it that an interesting, fun experience for everybody. Definitely subscribe to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. If you want to support my work, check out collegeofthedead.com. Get a copy of College of the Dead Graduation Day. The book's already done. It's shipping, and it ships immediately. And you can also get a copy of the prequel if you want to check that out. And also check out epicmermaids.com. Make sure you're signed up to the email list. We will get you an email in the next couple of weeks letting you know when the book is going to launch. It is launching in October 2020. I'm really excited about it. It's like Game of Thrones with mermaids. You can't go wrong. All right, I will see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.